Paddy Pimblett is the upcoming star in the lightweight division that Conor McGregor once dominated, and he wants fans to show more respect to the X2 division champion. He recently took a trip to the Irishman's bar and was enjoying what they had to offer when he received an unexpected phone call from the man himself. What did Notorious say to him? Keep watching and you'll find out. First off, should we give Conor more credit? Paddy Pimblett has said to UFC fans that they ought to be showing more respect to Conor McGregor. Yes, we know he's had some recent losses, but you can't just totally discredit his most legendary career. Let's not forget, the man was a two-weight world champion in his peak. He totally ruled over the lightweight division, whereas Pimblett himself is for now a rising prospect. And after visiting McGregor's pub in the midst of a recent trip to Dublin with friend Molly McCann, the Scouse fighter uploaded a video in which he said to fans that they should hold more respect for what the former champion has achieved in his career. Next up, Pimblett makes an interesting case. McGregor isn't doing so well these days. He's on a 2-fight losing skid and very recently came back to MMA sparring at SBG Ireland's headquarters. But he reassures us that he is going to return to the sport after healing properly from a broken leg, and he still plans to become a world champion at an unprecedented third weight. Talking in a recent Instagram video, Pimblett said that while it was undoubtedly great when Conor said good things about them because of how much he looks up to Conor, people often speak ill of him. It's true that he might have changed somewhat, but he's earned a ton of money, and that can happen to people. He also said that his contribution to the sport is unmatched, and MMA wouldn't be what it is today without him. He also recognized that much of his own success was because of McGregor. His exact words were, "Without Conor McGregor, I'm not getting paid what I do now, and getting a barstool deal or the sponsorship opportunities I get. A lot of people need to put respect on Conor's name." Let's talk about that phone call. Pimblett took a trip to the Black Forge Inn, McGregor's cool South Dublin hotspot, where he was feasting on a steak and a burger before picking up a FaceTime call from Notorious himself, who's been busy filming his Hollywood debut. McGregor quickly pointed out that Pimblett has gained a lot of weight since his last fight and joked with the Scouse fighter about his gains too. McGregor didn't hold back at all, even saying to Pimblett that he could tell right away just by looking at his face that he'd packed on the pounds. We're not shocked to hear that. Pimblett is no stranger to going on post-fight binges and otherwise indulging in some pretty irresponsible eating habits. He responded to McGregor's statements by agreeing that he had put on weight. He even revealed that he was back to 191 pounds already. Next up, looks like Sean O'Malley agrees with Pimblett. UFC star Sean O'Malley claims that Conor McGregor is the GOAT of MMA, and similarly to Pimblett, said that he took MMA to a whole new level. McGregor is an ex-2-weight world champion. He won the undisputed featherweight belt versus Jose Aldo in 2015 before going on to become a lightweight champion just a year later by defeating Eddie Alvarez. Impressive wins? Yes. But he hasn't fought since being defeated by Dustin Poirier for a second time just the previous summer. And while Notorious hasn't managed to gain the form of his earlier career, American bantamweight O'Malley still firmly believes that he should still be regarded as the best to have ever competed in the sport. If not for skill, then at the very least for entertainment value. He tweeted about it too, saying that McGregor is huge. His personality at the start is interesting and entertaining as hell. To O'Malley, he's definitely the GOAT. He credited McGregor with playing a big role in MMA entering the mainstream media. He took it to a whole new level and entertained more than any other fighter. He does have a point there. When you ask most people who aren't into MMA, they typically say they know McGregor rather than any other fighter. Finally, should Pimblett listen to McGregor's advice? We can't really blame McGregor. The man just said it like it is. And it's not the only time either. Pimblett was also criticized for putting on huge amounts of weight from UFC champions, including Alexander Volkanovski and ex-bantamweight title holder TJ. Both of these guys warned him against the unhealthy habit and advised him to find a solution to his binge eating and weight yo-yoing. The baddie opened up recently and said he believes he might have landed himself an eating disorder as the result of fighting professionally, looking at the extreme weight cuts and diet he must follow. Paddy also admitted that he goes out to restaurants and cafes with people. He notices how obviously shocked they are at the amount of food he can put away in one sitting. No one said that being a UFC fighter is an easy job, and he knew that when signing with the promotion. All the other fighters manage it. It would be hard to say that McGregor was wrong to call him out, even though he can see why many would say he should have worded it differently. Next, in other related news, Bobby Green's drug test comebacks positive. The well-liked UFC lightweight told fans in an Instagram video that he had to withdraw from a scheduled fight at UFC 276. Now the question was, why? Well, when you find out the answer to that, you're definitely going to be disappointed. It's every fighter's worst nightmare. He got back a positive drug test. He explained that he got a call from the UFC in the middle of training camp for his July 2nd fight versus Jim Miller, letting him know that he tested positive for a prohibited substance. What could it be? Is he taking banned drugs? Green quickly came out and explained himself, saying he believed the negative result was because of a DHEA supplement he was taking. He said that he was aware that he could be looking at a longer suspension by revealing the information before the USADA and the UFC themselves announced it, but he wanted to be as honest as he could with his fans. He can face up to a 2-year suspension for this, but on the bright side, that's probably not going to happen. The 36-year-old said that this supplement was recommended by a doctor he usually follows on YouTube, and his wife would buy it from Walmart. We have to admit though, he handled himself pretty nicely throughout this by coming forward and not trying to hide this mistake. Next up, Chimaev gets his passport seized. Khamzat Chimaev, a UFC middleweight phenom, is currently being detained in St. Petersburg, Russia, after the Russian government took away his passport for some reason. The week's travel itinerary for Borz, who was on his way to Chechnya, has been put on pause for now. The Swedish fighter was also set to visit Brazil later this week, as per the Brazilian outlet Combate. Chimaev may have been born in Chechnya, but he shifted to Sweden when he was only 19 years old, and this is where he went on to quickly become one of the greatest wrestlers in the country. As of late, Russia has found itself in the eye of the hurricane for its methods of increasing its armed forces to take part in the conflict with Ukraine. They have been recruiting men. Well, this could be the reason. After all, he's been barred from leaving Russia. We'd hate to see something like that happen to Borz. Ramzan Kadyrov, the ruler of Chechnya, and Chimaev are on good terms, and so this may help get Chimaev released from Russia. But Kadyrov strongly backs Vladimir Putin and has even threatened to have his own teenage son enlisted to fight Russia. Finally, Kevin Holland is done. Kevin Holland says there's no action behind his retirement announcement because he's for real done with fighting. Coming down from the loss to Khamzat Chimaev at UFC 279, Holland revealed the news that he was officially calling it quits, but his announcement was straight up taken with skepticism. Holland was dealt a first-round submission loss against Chimaev after he was originally scheduled to fight Daniel Rodriguez on the same card. The sadness from that performance aside, the 29-year-old Contender Series veteran was still pretty happy with the financial compensation he got as a result, and he made sure to tell the public that he harbors no animosity towards Chimaev. He talked about the situation away from social media for the first time while releasing his new podcast, and he says he's dead serious about retiring, especially after he was given a hefty pay for going through with the short notice fight with Chimaev. He says he's satisfied though, and he wouldn't want to fight again unless there's something out of this world happening. Holland says that now his priorities include working on his podcast, and he's also thinking of opening his own gym around the Fort Worth area in Texas. That's a wrap for this video. What are your thoughts on Conor McGregor? Do you agree with Paddy? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next video.